Welcome to the first edition of Weekend Roundup on this number one sports television in Cameroon, LT Sports TV, Lions Tracker Sports Television with me, Mwambo Edward, and Miley Edmond. Miley Edmond, welcome to the program.
Welcome, Wambo. Good to be here.
The weekend is coming up. It's a busy weekend from a sporting perspective. What do you expect?
The return of Elite One football after the suspension due to the training camp that was called for by the national team coach with a selection of local players. So it's always exciting to have Elite One football back on our screens.
Okay, so for you, it's Elite One coming back. That is what you are looking up to. Of course, the Southwest is represented with Victoria United playing against Fovazu of Fu in Yaoundé. Welcome to the program. We shall be coming back. The Northwest was in fanfare yesterday at the Bamenda Proximity Stadium, where we had the opening of the Northwest Regional League, the first game of the season between Mancon United and Hilltop Strikers. Hilltop Strikers were coming to the game on the back of just losing their coach Nguaremi, who has moved on to Dream Team. He had been the coach of that team for multiple years, close to 7 years, if I'm getting that right. And he opted to move away. And we were up against Mancon United with a certain Godson Hamlet, popularly referred to as the Guardiola of the Northwest. Mancon United were on the spotlight. They beat Hilltop Strikers by 5 goals to 1. Miley Edmond. Bamenda came to life from the pictures we can see that the stadium was jam packed.
Yes, I mean, it was a massive start for the Northwest Regional League. Manco United with a five-star performance, brushing aside Hilltop Strikers. We do not know if the sudden departure of their long-time coach, Remy, had a destabilizing effect on the team and its preparations towards the game. But Manco United, from stories that we are getting from Bamenda, are poised to be able to represent the Northwest region. You remember last season they only failed
The
at
finals
the
against
finals
Option Sports of
against
Bamenda.
Option Sport, and this year they've been able to ramp up preparations and resources in order to be able to go one step further to represent the region. And the game yesterday was a statement game. They laid down the gauntlet and they showed their true intentions. Remember that as a sign of showing their ambitions, they've been able to sign former Yosak captain
Gilbert Durel, a
Jiro.
teacher and a footballer at the same time. And he did not just come into this game like a star player. He was a standout player because he actually backed the brain. There were goals from Kata Bakado, there were goals from Fritz Fanfan and Lanjo William. But Jiberu scored twice.
Yes, so that shows that they also have Ngam Leonard,
Goalkeeper,
popularly known as
Dudu,
Dudu, who is also in their ranks. I mean, that shows the intent that they
the
have for
man
the
who is
season.
specialized in taking teams from the regional league to the L2, Opopo, Bafmen United, and many others are on his list of teams he has led to the L2 championship from the regional league. And so you can say that with Ngam Leonard Dudu in goal for Mancon United, they are already showing that they are on their way.
Yes, they have assembled quite a good squad, mixed with experience and youth. And the likes of Jurel, the likes of Leonard will now be able to guide the team, especially when you're getting towards the business end of the championship. And I think Manco United, they are ready. They are ready for this season, and it will not be any surprise if they're the ones that emerge champions of the Northwest.
Vastly experienced squad under the watch or under the tutelage of a relatively young coach, Godson Hamlet. We see him in the pictures. He's not the oldest or the most experienced, but he has a name, and that name looks to be going places.
Yes, there's a peculiarity in the Norwest when it comes to coaches. They've been able to have a good number of young coaches. We also know the coach of Option Sport is also a very, very young guy. Hamlet is also a very, very young guy. By Remy, although he's been in the game
Around for a long
for a
time,
long time,
still
is
very
still
young.
a very young person. So it shows that there's a crop of young talent when it comes to coaching in the Northwest, and they're blossoming and they're growing.
A talk about the Northwest. Yes, we know Bangbulate, Bafmain, and many others went to the Interpols and qualified. Last season, option sports did not exist at the Interpols. Some say they qualified to go and sell. Can we expect the Northwest again this time around to have a champion who will go to the Interpols just to exist?
I mean, champions are champions. They fell short when it comes to the level of competitiveness at the national interpols. Uh, will they still be able to? I mean, it's up to the other teams to be able to outclass them in the Norwest and go and do better representation. As long as they were the ones who went there, they deserved it. Unfortunately, at the national interpols, they were met by better teams, and the results were not what the North was expected. Hopefully, this year, either they or another team that is representing the Northwest would now be able to do a better job in order to be able to get the Elite Two ticket.
Mancon United made a huge statement of intent in that first game against Hilltop Strikers. 5-1 winners in the opener. The season looks long, but the intents are clear. Hopefully, they can carry on all the way and become the flag bearers of the Northwest in the next national interpols that qualifies for the Elite Two Championship. From Bamenda yesterday, Thursday, to Boya tomorrow, Saturday, the Southwest Regional League kicks off at the Moliko Omnisco Stadium, a stadium that has had legends from Stephen Wose, Valentine Atem, and you name the rest. The Southwest tomorrow vibrates to the rhythm of the opener of the regional championship with two games in store. Miley Edmond last year, Kumba City FC went, they saw and they conquered. What do we expect in this year's championship? There are a lot of stories, but on purely football basis, what do we expect?
I don't think we expect that much relatively compared to the past couple of seasons. In the past 2 3 seasons, we've seen a massive build up. We saw how teams were recruiting. We saw teams playing a good number of friendly
Friendly games.
games. We saw scouts, teams bringing in big name coaches. But that has not followed this season. Lots of teams have reduced the level of investment in their teams, except for Elexport that has been able to up the ante this time.
They've upped, but they've lost their coach. Sango Emmanuel Dumebuso has left Expo. He was the biggest name coach in the region. He has joined Start Rena of Melon. So even at the level of Expo, we can't say the same.
Yeah, I mean, when an Elite One team comes calling, you would expect a seasoned coach like Dumbe Boso to be able to take up that call and take up the challenge we start right now. But I still think Elexpo has been able to do the investment way above shoulders than any other team, and they are the team to beat. They are the team that everybody is going to look for. But you know that there's a massive crop of talent in the Southwest, although we have not been able to see movement from other teams, but that does not negate the fact that these teams still have these players. And this when the championship gets rolling, you'll find the level of competitiveness from these boys will be able to pick up. So although the excitement and anticipation are not there as they have been in the past previous seasons, we still do expect that when the game starts, the football in the pitch will now be able to draw in the crowd. And if fair is fair, you'll find more people flooding to the stadiums.
What explains this drop in enthusiasm from the fans, from the clubs? Because I was involved with Fako United, where I was part of the management of the club. We used to resume training in October. Never before in the last 3, 4 seasons had we not started training in October. But this season, they resumed training sometime in February. And I'm asking this because it is not peculiar to Fako United. Why have the clubs pulled off the plug?
Um, but firstly, you look at the officiating. I mean, anybody who watched the mini interpost last season in the Southwest region in Limbe, I mean, the officiating was disastrous with the famous Dangamundi brought in order to be able
And
to,
Olinga Fanchen.
yeah. So that gave the impression that
The
the
champions are
champions
pre-decided.
are pre-decided or handpicked by people or out of the field. So suddenly, when I mean the people putting their money in football, they started saying, I mean, there's no need for me to be able to invest in these kids in my team when I know that there is no hope for me, especially for those who have the ambition to be able to represent the region at the mini interpos and have the Elite Two ticket. So those teams, they are on a wait and see approach. So they are looking at, okay, let's be able to see if the officiating this year will be better.
But how do you just sit and wait to see how the officiating will be if you are not prepared? Because they say when you are prepared, you can challenge. But almost every team in the region, with the exception of Best Stars, when off the field training, they only resumed in January, February, and the league is starting tomorrow. What explains this? Because you are saying that the officiating is a problem, but what if this season the officiating is fair? How will the teams cope with the reality?
I mean, this decision is not coming from a once off. I mean, there's been a trend. You realize that the past 3 seasons,
The past 3, 4 seasons,
they've always been
a handpicked champion.
the stories around who is going to represent the region and how they come about that. So teams have been able to use that information and say, if that's the case, then the past 3 seasons we invested, we hope it was going to be better. We invested, we hope it was going to be better, but nothing changed. So let's be able to do the reverse this season. It still does not mean that these teams don't have the players. These teams still have the players, but I mean, they changed the tactic. When they had to start training in October, they started training in February. When they had to sign 5, 3, or 6 big
Big
names, they
names,
sign
they
one
sign none
or
even.
sign none even. So they simply changed the approach or the strategy for preseason, but they still have the players, and we still expect that these young guys are very, very competitive whenever the champion.
Competitive, not really physically, because when you talk about being competitive, you have to be physically ready as well. But given the length of time they've trained, there is no magic.
I mean, there is no magic, but I mean, if a player has been able to put in 4 weeks, 6 weeks into hard training, you expect that as the season continues, they will be able to pick. But the summary here is that the preparations, both on and off the field, for the teams and the media and the fans, has not been the same like it has been in the past
Down
couple of
down the
seasons.
years, we used to have media day. Media day was something that is it Bolik, the medalist. His name is Basil Bunye. He is of the Facebook page Southwest Football Cameroon. He used to have a media day where he goes about each club, take pictures in the build up to the season. At my club that I was working for, no longer there, it's Fako United, we had a media day as well, where we took pictures for the season build up. This year, nothing is happening. Not at the level of any club, not at the level of the football media in the southwest. It's mind-boggling. It's not sitting well with me, Miley, anymore. It shows us the level at which our football has fallen.
Yes, you know, like a couple of seasons ago, the Southwest Football Cameroon, the page run by Basim Bunye, was official media partner for the regional federation. For some reason, last season they had to switch media partner, and they've not been able to carry up because one key thing with football is it goes a long way with the media, and that media is responsible in creating anticipation and responsible in creating uh, expected excitement. If we want to draw comparison with the championship in the Northwest, this season they've been able to appoint Tebo Beroni as marketing officer for the entire league. That shows that it's not a media officer, it's a marketing officer. They are taking it a step higher in order to be able to put the championship at the spotlight.
A square peg in a square hole. Very Mitego is a renowned marketer by practice and by studies. He studied marketing in the UK, and he is renowned in what he has been doing with Rainbow Sports Investment. So when they not always appoint him, it shows they know what they are doing.
Yeah, they're now taking it is a little bit step higher. I mean, the Southwest, we saw Valerian Daze was yesterday in the kickoff in the Northwest region. Maybe he will be able to come back with some notes from how they run their things here, so that they can be able to retake. Because remember that the Southwest over the past couple of seasons has been among the best run regional leagues in terms of excitement. Hopefully, they can be able to continue in their life.
The Southwest has been amongst the best until the cartel took over. The cartel, I take responsibility, took over and destroyed everything. Shall be back with the football. Apart from the polemics, Miley Edmond, or from the off-field and other distractions, football returns in the region tomorrow with two games at the Moliko Omnispo Stadium. The first game will pit Boya City FC against Option Sports Academy of Limbe. Uh, these are two teams, one known for its ambition back in the years. Um, Mr. Niba Henry Awanto, the president of Option Sports, came with ambitions. He has always had ambitions, but that looks to have shifted to the Northwest. And now, where City FC came, they qualified through the Southwest, the Fako League, in an unorthodox manner, but they are playing their second season in the regional championship. What do we expect in this first game between Option Sports and West City FC?
Boya City promoted last year from the divisional league to the regional league. They
So
came
where
in
in the meaning that both at the first time of
at
asking.
first time of asking. They came in, they assembled a good number of players. They pushed their way forward. There was a controversial moment involved with them last season, but I think it's their second season. They would have been able to learn from experience and know what it takes in order to be able to be a regular contender in the region. Option Sports, on the other hand, is a regular. They've been there for a good number of seasons. They've always been at the business end. They've been able to produce some of the finest players from the region. And in this game, you would expect that it's quite going to be fairly balanced. But the experience of Option Sport, the experience that the name that they've been able to build from themselves, will now be able to weigh in their favor. But in terms of crowd turnover, you realize that Boya City is some sort of a checkpoint team. They have a lot of followers or fans from checkpoint.
Though not as popular as the Istanbul, the Royal
United
United, the Senior Dev, which are also checkpoint clubs.
checkpoints. So the crowd might be able, if the crowd turn out, might be able to swing in favor of Boya City. But you find that the talent that Option Sport has been able to gather over the years and the experience that they have, the name that follows them, might give them the edge over Boya City tomorrow.
If you had to give a prediction, who do you expect to carry the day in this first game?
If I had to be able to give a prediction, I will go with the score, a scoring victory for Option Sports.
The second game is more enticing, more mouth-watering. It's between Fako United and Bestars Academy of Limbe of President and Coach Uju Fasatrin. Fako United of President Terence Chakanganje have as coach Len Eme, proven regular coach in the region, a man who is also in charge of Anafoot Southwest. Um, Under normal circumstances, this should have been a cracker.
Yes, following the history, following the performances of the past two seasons, I mean, Coach Udufak has been able to, over the years, assemble wonderfully talented on under 18
Two of
players,
them
two of them
currently with the home based
uh,
indomitable
in
Lions
Lions.
assembled by Coach David Bayo.
Yeah, and they regularly, when it comes to the junior categories of Cameroon football, there are always players from their stars.
Two of them were with the Unifact team
Unifact
that
team that
won
won the.
in the
So
GRC.
you find that best stars, they always have a talent. They always have a player that are going to be able to show to the public every season. And I still expect them to be able to maintain the standard. Fako United over the past three seasons, maybe they've become disillusioned because over the past two seasons they've been able to assemble a stellar collection of players, hoping that it was going to give them the push to go ahead. But this time around, I said it's still going to be a cracker game in terms of name and excitement when it comes to the players that we have.
Looking at Fako United squad, they've still got Boris Elat, Opijani, and Gamu Kevin. They just lost John Tutu, who signed for a club in Guyana. They've kept the cream of the club. Goalkeeper Oyong Desiree has signed for Kuma City FC, but there is still Ngole Luis and many of their star players are still there. So They only managed a few friendly games this year, unlike previous years where they used to play 18 friendly games before the season begins. But they are still a tough side in the region. We don't know what to expect tomorrow's game. But everything being equal, Paco against Best Stars is a game to watch.
Yes, I mean that's the game to watch tomorrow, given the pedigree of the teams and the players that they have.
Okay. So, if you are anywhere watching us in the world as at this moment, take the rendezvous tomorrow at the Moliko or Mispo Stadium. The first game is at 2 p.m. and the second at 4. Basti against Option Sports is at 2 p.m. and Faco against Bestas at 4 p.m. If you are joining us wherever you are in the world, this is our weekend roundup on Lions Tracker Sports Television with me, Mwambo Edward, and Miley Edmond. Miley Edmond, we are on our third talking point on the program, and this third talking point is the MTN Elite One Championship that enters match day 9 this weekend, beginning tomorrow, Saturday, with a very mouth-watering game between Unisport of Bafa and Colombo Sportif of Janelobo. Unisport are the league leaders, Colombo are the reigning champions. Automatically, there is bound to be excitement. Coach Laurent Jam for Unisport Bafang against Richard Toa for Colombo Sportif of Janelobo. This promises to be an exciting game. Colombo have their problems. Their players were rejected for the grouping of home-based players for reasons that you and I can imagine. But they are still one of the best teams in the country. Unispo under Laurent Jam have shown that they've got both ambition and enthusiasm, which explains why they are at the helm of the current league table. So, what do we expect in this first game?
I mean, on paper, it's expected to be a very, very good game. Coach Laurent has been able to do marvelously so far this season, being a newly promoted team into Elite One and to be able to be at the top of the log.
Former Elite One champions, we must say.
Yeah, so they've been able to do good. They've played good football. They've been able to have some very remarkable results. We remember that PWG was on a run of 4 winning games until when they played at the Bafang Municipal Stadium, and Municipal had the edge over them. So they have the confidence, they have the momentum that is going on with them. They play a column side that does not really know where to find themselves. They started the season slowly. They've not been able to pick up form. Then we had the incident of
The Super Cup.
the Super Cup that came in, and their players were summarily not uninvited for the national team selection of local players. So you do not really know
Where the morale
where their
should
morale,
be at this
where their
moment.
minds are. We hear of an impending sanction which is looming over their head. So the team currently is in a fixed position. But again, you would expect that the role of the coach at this time is not just to be able to train them on the pitch or lay down the tactics, but also to be able to get into their heads and try to be able to find the right words to tell them that forget about what might come. We are today. Let's be able to get the 3 points. So you expect it to be a very, very balanced game. I don't expect a lot of goals in this game, but Municipal might just be able to have that edge given the momentum that they have currently.
And of course, playing in front of their home crowd in the West region. The second game tomorrow, Saturday, will be between Cotton Sport of Garua and Aigle Royal de la Menua. Cotton Sport, under the national team coach David Bagu, lost for the first time in this season's championship in the Northwest to his former club, PWG of Bamenda. They are up against Aigle of Menua, who've not really been fixed on what egg they can offer. They can turn out today and tomorrow they are absent. We don't know. They are an erratic side. Against the Cotton Sports, they has lost only one of their first 8 games, though with so many draws. We've watched Cotton Sport play. It's not the vintage Cotton Sport back in the days of Dauda Kamilu, Amado Ngoma, and you name the rest. It's a Cotton Sport team that you don't really know what to expect from them. Uh, you can't really pick out a standout player in this current Cotton squad. They've got some good players like Ivan Aluko, like their captain Aziz Mubarak. They've got a few players, Emmanuel Dakana and many others, Ela Rodrigue. But it is not that Cotton sport that we've known down in the years.
Yes, they've struggled. They've struggled so far this season. I mean, the game against Victoria United in Limbe where we watched. Though they won, it was very, very laborious and hard to watch. Knowing who Cotton Sport
Have been
have been in the past and the kind of football that they've been able to play.
2008 CAF Champions
Yeah.
League finalists.
So, but it shows that slowly they're trying to be able to find their way through. I mean, the last time they played in Barua, they were 5-1 winners. I mean, the largest score so far in Elite One for this season. So, Garua has always been a hostile ground for visiting teams. You still expect Cotton Sport to be able to have that home advantage that works for them as they keep fine tuning themselves in order to find that form and that consistency. Here is another chance for them to be able to bounce back from the setback or the results that they had in Bamenda against PWG. So I expect the Garo advantage to be in their favor and the 3 points to be in their back.
Especially against a struggling Eagle team. Still on Saturday at 4 p.m. at the Stade Annex at the Humli Aja in Gararu. Humli Aja, where things are happening. We have Gazelle FA of Garua against Dynamo of Douala. Dynamo of Douala are the team with the most firing attack line in this year's championship. With Jules Amanko on 5 goals, with our man Jefta Are Oduak on 4 goals. Dynamo are the team with the most firing power so far in the league, traveling to Garua to play against Gazelle. Many say that if Cameroon's league was played fairly on the pitch, Gazelle will be champions because they've got the best team. I can imagine some of their players. Coach Alium Kada has been doing a wonderful job in that club. Right from Elite One now, they are in their fourth season, I suppose. They've been consistent. Gazelle FA of Garua, Mael Fernandez, Axel Mikila, players staged over the Ballon d'Or, players that no one ever knew about, but were made stars by Gazelle. And Gazelle, everyone that has come up against this team has had to say that they are the best team in the country. Up against Dinamo of Douala, coached by a coach who knows Cameroon's football extremely well. He's been around for a while as well. What do we expect in this game?
I mean,
Sourcing, please.
so simple.
They call him the El Tactico. He's been in the Northwest, coach Cameroon's national team of home-based players. At some point, he's been at Pante and other clubs. Vastly experienced. What do we expect in this game?
It's a game that has a lot of interest, given what happened last season. A controversial game that did not end. So I mean, Gazelle has a point to prove. Dinamo has a championship position to place themselves in. That two attacking teams. I mean, Dinamo this season has been on their day. They've been flamboyant in how they've been able to play their football. Jules Amanko, Are Jefta, been on fire, propelling the team towards victories here and there. Gazelle has always been able to play since in football there from a 2-2 draw
Against Victoria
against
United in Limbe.
Victoria United, having the best player in Serge Daura this season, or from last season, also adds an X factor to the game. So you find that Gazelle, they've also been very, very strong when they're playing at home. Well, Dinamo is coming from the back of the feet. So you find Gazelle.
Dynamo actually won their last game.
Their
by
last
4 goals
game.
to 0.
For,
In that game where Jeff
okay,
scored 3 goals.
it was 2 games ago that they lost against Canon. So you find that two teams that you expect them to be able to be contenders for the championship this season, but Gazelle simply is in that fine form and playing at home. You find that they will be able to have an edge over Jeff Arik
Dynamo of
and
Douala.
Smith.
At the Melon Municipal Stadium on Sunday, Eddie, we have another game between Aigle Royal Dumongo against IS Fortuna Mfu. Fortuna Mfu under coach Prosper Ndidi have been erratic. Today, 3-0 winners, tomorrow 4-0 losers against an Aigle of Mongo team that is not playing well at all. What do we expect in this game?
I mean, it's not one of the games where you want to really feel excited to go and watch. I mean, there are two teams that have been in terrible bad form. They've not been able to. I mean, they are basically pushing themselves through games. Fortuna, Egler, I mean, they've not really been fine form. It's not one of those games that you look on paper and it excites you. So if you find a 0-0 draw there, I mean, it will be an outcome that is expected, but nothing to write home about.
The next game is between Star Arena of Melon at the same stadium at 5:30, 3:30 p.m. rather, against Panther of the Star Arena of Melon have had movement in the bench. Coach the coach Suleiman Abubakar was shown the door and a new man was ushered in, Sango Emmanuel Nubego. So former coach of Union, Mount Cameroon, Yosa, Cotton Sport, he's been everywhere. He's now at the helm of Stade Rennais of Melon of President Jean Quete. They are up against Panthers Sportif of Day. They too have had movement in their bench. Their head coach is still Yves Clement Aroga, but they brought in an assistant, former coach of Stade Rennais, Justin Kamge, comes in as Yves Clement Aroga's assistant. Pante have been there and or thereabout. They've been playing well with a certain football Brandon pulling the strings in the midfield, a certain striker, David Tiofan Ngondo, scoring the goals for them. This start winner team is struggling. That explains why, of course, they sacked coach Abaka Suleimanu and brought in the vastly experienced coach from who's been almost everywhere, Sango Emmanuel Ndobeboso, to steady the ship.
Yes, Stade Reina, they've not really been, I mean, they are poor this season. That's the one word that summarizes their performances this season. Panther, yeah, Panther, they've been playing well, but they've not yet been able to play up to the potential that we expect of them. I mean, pre-season, we were able to tick them as one of the favorites for the championship. They are still top of the table, at the top end
End of it.
of the table,
Mm.
but you still find that it's a team that is still trying to actually find their form, find who they that consistency that allows them to have a run in order to really show their ambitions as contenders. Coach Aroga is quite a good coach, known for being able to be technically very
See, he is
savvy.
of the Spanish football school.
Yeah, so you expect, I mean, for Papa Brandon, at the heart of the creativity there, you expect them at one point to be able to click, but it is that clicking that they are still to be able to find. But they can now be able to capitalize, playing against a struggling start right now, whose only strength getting into this match is they've now been able to bring in Coach Dumbe Mboso, and there's usually that psychological kick that comes in when
A new
a
coach
new
was called
coach
Edo.
comes in, so it becomes a tricky game for Panther in that light. But Panther can now be able to go and inflict more damage on Stade Rennais in order to be able to have a win under their belt.
The next game on this Elite One Championship is between Canon of Yaoundé and Pseudo Bamenda. That game takes place at the start of Misport Annex in Yaoundé. La Mecoq Mangonda, Ekpaku, Canon of Yaoundé under coach Patrice Nunke have not lived up to expectations. Uh, they did a recruitment that many thought could challenge for the championship, but it's not happening for them. Against Pibamenda, when Tamawango was appointed coach, many were asking, can he live up to, can he be able to fit into the big shoes left by Pago? But Tamawango is doing wonderfully well with the Abakwa boys. What do we expect in this cracker in Yaoundé between Canon and the Abakwa boys?
I mean, it's a big team game. Kanong, I mean, legendary team in Cameroon with now Nathan Douala, who
10 times Cameroon League winners, 3 times Champions League winners, 11 times Cameroon Cup
Cup
winners.
winners.
They are arguably one of the greatest clubs in Cameroon. If you compare them, they can only be compared to Coton Sport, but their plus is 3 Champions League
Yeah,
winners.
so a massive team that led a trend, was trendsetters when it came to branding, when it came to social media. Over the years, they've been focused in that area.
They were doing marvelously well in terms of their social media and marketing under Ghislaine Ongene, but apparently that has not been able to carry on. They now have a new marketing officer in Thomas Belibi. He's not doing as much
Much
as
as
Ghislaine Ongene was doing. But of course, President Placide Mevoa says he wants to take the club to the next level.
Yeah, so they have a 2030 plan. They think that by 2030 they should have become champions and play regularly the CAF Champions League. For now, we are not yet seeing that vision play out because I mean they win the odd game here, but the game you expect them to be able to perform, they lose. The score against the match against Dynamo in Douala where they won. You thought, oh, that's Kanong that we know. That the next game you find that. So they've not been able to be that have that consistency. Playing against a very young, spirited and talented PWG Bamenda that has been on fine form this season, that have played very, very good football.
Who had three players in the team called by David Bag.
David Pago. So you find that Coach Tamo has been able to rally the team behind his vision of playing good football, and they play a Kanong team that are not really sure of themselves. That might create a gap, an opening for PWD to go get the result there. But at the end of the day, I still find that the two teams might neutralize themselves and we might have a scoring draw.
It's difficult to call that one. These are two of Cameroon's informed teams. The final game will take place also in Yaoundé at the same start annex on sport. The game is between Fovazu of President Nya Nobe and, of course, Victoria United of Limbe from the southwest. Fovazu have also had movement in their bench. They've sacked their coach, Olivier Nankam. Has been replaced by Theodore Ngachu. They are up against Opopo, One People, One Power, a team that is exciting but also making headlines for the wrong reasons. Their coach is Ngambe David, but their coach is also Valentine Kwan, their president. They drew their last game in Limbe against Gazelle. You would expect that they will want to bounce back from that setback at home against Fovazu, where results were not owing. That's why Olivier Nankam, a man who has been at Astro, at Colombe, at many Cameroon clubs and has done well, was shown the door. Now they've got Sodonga, who is coming back as head coach of the team.
Uh, I mean, Opopo in its day will be able to triumph over
A struggling Fovazu.
a struggling for Vazu. The thing with Victoria United is they always have this dark cloud looming over them. I mean, even when they play a fair game and they play well, people always feel like, okay, when is the result or when is the decision going to be in their favor? But I think if they come back to the drawing board and they focus on playing football. Victoria United has a lot of exciting potential players that can be able to play very, very good football. They have the opportunity to have 3 points in Yaoundé and come back after the exciting game they played against Gazelle.
Where we had a wonderful goal from China, their midfielder, and we had a goalkeeper, Jason Mule, who made seven
Seven.
saves in that game against Gazelle. Like you were saying, Miley Edmond, they've got exciting talent. They've got the players like Gilles Frank Ito, their central defender who was in the national team with coach David Bag.
Vacancy.
We can see the man former player of Isosa who came through and Afut who is doing well for them. You look at the talent on show at the Popo, and when you watch them play, you say that this is a good team, but there is always the X factor that destroys everything.
Yeah, I mean that is the downside for them this season. They've been able to play well. I mean, they've had a lot of penalties in their favor,
That's the
and
X factor.
they've they're also protesting. I mean, after every game, the game against Gazelle, they did release a video showing that they had a goal that was disallowed and people could not.
So
say
it
that.
wasn't that convincing.
So that's the issue with Victoria United. People do not know how to feel about them. They don't know how to feel.
What to expect?
They don't know if they are to feel excited about the football that they watch they play, or to feel disgruntled about certain decisions that go their way.
Captain Chana Ngenda and his teammates are off to Yaoundé against Fovazu Elite, where a new coach is in town. Theodongachu will have to try to get Fovazu up and running against an Apopo team that is capable of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is weekend roundup on Lions Tracker Sports Television. Miley Edmond, the UEFA Champions League is the biggest stage of club football in the world. And over the week, we've had some exciting games in the knockout stage of this new format that many can't understand, but it will get into their heads sooner or later. The way some shocking results we saw that in the 16 teams left, the English clubs had five, and they were beating their chests as the hot red favorites. But it didn't happen for them. Almost every English club in this round struggled, except Arsenal that was not beaten. The rest were beaten and some even flattened in this round. Galatasaray beat Liverpool 1-0 in their own game, and then we had Atletico Madrid that made light work of Tottenham Hotspur's 5-2. Chelsea were also put to the guillotine by Paris Saint-Germain by 5 goals to 2. Why did the English clubs collapse so badly? We also remember Man City beaten by Real Madrid 3-0. What happened in the English clubs?
I think the strange one, the Madrid versus City game, you taking the fact that Madrid have not really been um, firing on all cylinders like they were doing at the start of the season. No one saw that coming, especially when the talisman, Kylian Mbappe, was not in the
Sidelined due to injury.
into injury. But Valverde stood up
Federico Valverde
and
captained the team by example.
and that is the force of Real Madrid when it comes to the Champions League. They always have that X factor in favor.
Again, my question is: Bayer Leverkusen drew with Arsenal, Newcastle drew with Barcelona, but the other three English clubs were not only beaten, some were flattened. Miley Enon, we've said, we've argued that the English league is the best in the world, but apparently we are not getting it right.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the season, Tottenham has been in shambles in playing at this level of the Champions League while battling for relegation. You don't expect anything of Tottenham. Liverpool has been yo-yo. I mean, they've not been where they were last season. Even City, the City of past that we knew that would.
Many are saying that maybe Guardiola has run his time at City. Time for him to make way. Probably he's run out of ideas and the players have run out of plans.
Yes, and if you know Guardiola, this is the longest he's been on any club. He's somebody who likes to experiment a lot when it comes. Maybe that Guardiola factor that he had, the spell he had over the team, and it's been dissipated. And it's,
From even from his body language, you feel like this man has reached his maximum. There is definitely diminishing returns creeping in. So maybe someone else can
yeah,
get
so
the team.
I genuinely think that what he has done for football, Guardiola needs to be able to just step aside from club football and then get into national team management. But Real Madrid did what Real Madrid always does. They show up when when
When it
when
matters the
when it
most. That's why
matters
they are
and
15 times Champions League
15
winners.
times. So next Paris Saint Germain
Against Chelsea.
against Chelsea.
We were expecting a tough game, but PSG made light work of Chelsea, and it looks done. The English Premier League returns this weekend. If you are just joining us, we are on the program Weekend Roundup on Lion Striker Sports Television, where we are broadcasting live from the Fexify studios here in Morikoboya. We begin our weekend preview of the top European leagues. The English Premier League goes into match day 30 this weekend, and of course, Miley Edmond. Our interest is with the clubs where we have our Cameroonian contingent. One of them is Man United, who are up against Aston Villa. Villa lost last time out against Chelsea 4-1. Unai Emery looks to have lost the plot. Man United pushing for a place in that top four, and likely they might hold on to it because they're currently third on the log against an Aston Villa team that you would have thought were league contenders but lost the plot along the line. As it stands right now, they are out of the race for the league and they are now fighting to stay in the top four against Brian Bemo's Man United. Brian Bemo is United's top scorer in the league this season with 9 league goals. What do we expect in this game?
I think Aston Villa, they've just lost team and the wheels are just falling off. They started the season so brightly, but now, I mean, they seem to not be able to know themselves as opposed to Man United under the stewardship of Michael Carrick, who has been able to rally them behind and Buemo doing fantastically well under him. The game against Newcastle might be seen as a quack and Fana in the works, but you find that United still has what it takes in order to be able to have 3 points because this is like a 6 pointer game because the winner, if United wins, they've been able to distance Aston Villa in that top four race. If Aston Villa wins, they've closed the gap.
It will be a big loss for Villa if they can't win this game. Talking about Man United, Michael Carrick have turned around their fortunes, but in the last couple of games, they look to be coming back to Man U that we have known in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, against Newcastle, you expected. I mean, Newcastle went down 10 men. You at that stage, you expected United to be able to dominate it and win the game comfortably. But with the energy and the crowd of St James Park, Newcastle was able
Young Osula stepped up and did the business
and did the
for the
business
Magpies.
at the end of the game. Uh, I was telling somebody that that loss was actually a good thing for Michael Carrick and Man United because they needed, in order to refocus and as we are getting to the business end, have a run of games that will secure them Champions League football for next season.
He was a player wanted by Man United to break the treasury, but Brighton and Hove Albion held onto their prize jewel. Carlos Uma Balebas, Brighton and Hove Albion are up against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. The Black Cats and their home are not a team that you can take lightly. What do we expect? Regis Lobre has built a solid team that at home is difficult to beat. Brighton under Fabian Hosler are ranked 14th in the league. This one looks to tilt towards Sunderland.
Yeah, I mean Sunderland have been able to really cement their spot. I mean they've secured their stay in the Premier League this season by making the Stadium of Light a fortress. They've won games in matches where you did not expect. Brighton have just lost that spark. The Brighton that we knew the past 2 3 seasons, they're no longer that exciting team, and it bodes well for teams that will want to come in for their players. Remember that if had a good season, the market value of all of their players would have been skyrocketing. But now that they are in poor form, 14 on the league table, that creates room for the likes of United or other big teams to swoop in for their players at later market value. But the game, you find that the game, Sunderland is favourite to be able to come up with the points there.
With just 16 points from 30 games, Wolverhampton Wanderers looked doomed for the drop. But they are up against Brentford, Wolverhampton Wanderers, a team of Cameroon's Jackson Chachua, a player known for his speed in both Italy and now in England, rated as the fastest player in many of the leagues he plays for. Wolves looked doomed, though they have 16 points. They are just 3 points away from the other two teams above them. But seeing them battle off this drop, battle their way out of this drop fight is not looking likely.
I mean, they've picked wonderful form at the end. They've won remarkable games. They drew against Arsenal. They
They
beat
beat
Liverpool
Liverpool.
and drew against United. So you find that if this form was there at the start of the season, I mean, Wolves will not be nowhere near the top end of the table. But at this time, I mean, with 16 points and just a possible 24 points remaining, I don't see them winning all of their matches to get to a magic 40 points. So Chachua might be playing the championship next season,
If another team doesn't
or
come.
might be up to another team somewhere.
Now, before we go to the Spanish La Liga, which is the next our next talking point on this program this day on Lions Tracker Sports TV on the program Weekend Roundup, Miley Edmond in the English Premier League, Arsenal have been the masters of the nearly but not quite. Do we see the Gunners go all the way this time around? Though at this business end of the season, they looked to have lost steam.
Yeah, I mean they are not in their ravishing form, but what they have that works in their favor is that the chasing team, which is Man City, is not also in fine form. So
And the others who could chase, like Manchester United, are not also in fine form.
and yeah, so the
Your
so
Manchester United.
yeah, so the you realize that Arsenal, I mean, they'll be champions. I think they'll be champions because Man City will not be able to catch them. Arsenal will still drop points. Man City is still going
Will
to
still
drop
drop
points.
points.
So you find that Arsenal playing terrible football will be champions this season.
Galakwan Henry, His Royal Highness Chief Charles Embola, my friend Molombe Ngute Kelbs, the Arsenal fans, you guys look to finally be close to a league title after how many years? Is it 23 years? Because the last time they won the league was 2024. So it's 22 years with Wenger left and Arteta is about to get you guys back to promised land. It looks promising, but you have to make sure. Welcome back to Weekend Roundup on the best sports television on the land. It is Lions Tracker Sports Television. We are looking at the European leagues from a Cameroon perspective. Miley Edmond, there are three Cameroonians playing their creating the Spanish top tier. But the first one will be in action is our man at Getafe, Alan Romeo. They will be up against Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid under Pablo Diego Simeone. He has been there for a very long time. You and I have been discussing off camera, and we think that Simeone has done his time at Atletico Madrid. They need fresh ideas. They're up against Getafe, a team that is from Madrid as well, because Getafe and Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid are Madrid-based clubs. So it's a derby.
Yes, it's a local derby, but you find Atletico Madrid coming from the back of that scintillating win against Tottenham in the Champions League. Would just be able to have what it takes in order to be able to overcome a studious Getafe team. Atletico Madrid trying to be able to secure Champions League for the next coming season. They've not been able to replicate the form that they had under Simeone in the mid 2000s, the 2013, 2014, when they were regularly they won the league and they played back to back
Champions League finals, which they lost.
So they've not been able to replicate that form. Is it similar to the case where the club has become tired of, in terms not physically, but at times psychologically, just tired of the coach who has been there for so long? Or is it a situation where they now need to be able to rejuvenate a crop of young, talented players in order to take over from the likes of Griezmann and Koke? But against Getafe, I think they will be good.
The next Cameroonian is our man Enzo Flavien Oyomo. He is said to be the Cameroonian player with the highest transfer market value. He plays for Osasuna Barcelona, another team found in the Basque region. It's a Basque derby. They are against Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad, a very popular club, the former club of Xabi Alonso, who became a massive midfielder for Liverpool, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid, and became coach of Leverkusen and Real Madrid, Xabi Alonso Lano. They are up against Osasuna. Osasuna are not one of the big names, of course, former club of Cameroon's forward, Pierre Achille Webo. So it's a club with some Cameroonian history. So what do we expect in this one? Boyomo has been good. He's been playing. He got injured. He's coming back. What do we expect in this game between Real Sociedad and Osasuna Pamplona? A basket derby.
About the I mean, the derbies are usually very fierce, fiery in how they play. So Sociedad, as I mean, they're a good team. They're a team that are regulars, always top table team, playing against Osasuna. And Boyoma has been able to do good for himself, especially against the big games. Against Real Madrid, he was up on his own against Kylian Mbappe. But Sociedad, you find that will now be able to just have that edge. Although
it's not the Sociedad under Renato Wex that we knew back in the years that struggled to win the league.
Yeah, so
they almost won the league.
They almost won the league. They've maintained the DNA. They've struggled in order to be able to keep it alive, but they've not been able to replicate that historical era under Ronaldo. But against Osasuna, they might find that extra goal in order to be able to win it for them.
In the final game of match day 28 of the Spanish La Liga, we have Rayo Vallecano against Carl Blaise Edouard Eta Eyong's Levante. He's been struggling. He's been out of the team and not firing again like we thought. Many say the Nations Cup did him more harm than good. But Eta Eyong and Levante are up against a spirited Rayo Vallecano team. What explains the dip in form from Carl Blaise Eta Eyong? We thought that we've had the next Cameroon big striker, but it's not happening for him.
I think the strangest decision that happened at the start of the season was when he left Villarreal.
Villarreal actually wanted to do away with the player. Probably management at Villarreal had foresight. They saw that it could be just a flash in the pan. This lad does not have it. And that's why they were keen to get him out of the door.
Yeah, so probably he was not able to manage that transfer because at Villarreal B where he played well last season. Then he started the season
With the first team.
with the first team, and he started very well. And he was gaining his confidence, and there were eyes on him. And suddenly, when he has to be able to trade it to a lower ranked team, I mean, usually
You would have thought he's coming to a place where he is the king. He is coming from a bigger club to a smaller club. Yeah, he will hit the ground running. He did. He did.
he did.
Then the AFCON came and the goals dried up.
Yeah, so he has not been able that low phase that happens to every player within the season. He has not been able to capitalize on that. He has had a couple of chances to score, chance that he would have put back in the back of the net at the start of the season that he missed. What he now needs is he simply needs to be able
I was
to.
about to ask you that. How can he come out of this difficulty?
I mean, he simply has to be put his head there. 10 games to go. Get back to training. Know that in a couple of months he'll be on a break. He can now go for a break and regain himself. But now all he has to be able to do is put himself out there, do regular training. When he has the chance, he can be able to score a couple of goals just to be able to regain his form and his stature before the season ends. Because I mean, football can be cruel. You also his club might not. Levante might start thinking, maybe we should be able to trade him off again to another club. But again, that's he has proven that he can score goals, so he will become good.
He has to get back to basics. God bless Edouard Itayon. We are coming back. When we come back, we talk about the next league on our menu, the Italian Serie A, where we've got a few Cameroonians as well in that league. Welcome back to the program Weekend Roundup on Lions Tracker Sports Television. We are looking at what will happen in this weekend, and of course, we have Cameroonian players playing in the Italian Serie A that goes into match day 29 this weekend. One of them is Enzo Ebose. He had a wonderful World Cup in Qatar, and we thought finally Cameroon has had that defender who has steel in him. But then injuries have not helped him. He's had to move from Udinese to Hellas Verona and now at Torino. They are up this weekend against Parma. They are ranked 15th against 12th placed Parma. Ebose is our interest here. Maile Edmond. He's been having game time at Torino. Do we see him coming back to the Lions then?
If you look at the choices of Coach David Pago currently, I mean, it will take something in order for Ebose to be able to be to be called back into the team. But one thing that comes out with him is he's a talented player. For him to have gone through all of the injuries that he has suffered and still be able to regularly be signed up by different Serie A teams shows how much talent.
After a passage in Poland, he also went to Poland and played for some Polish clubs.
Yeah.
Notably Jagiellona, where he played in the UEFA Europa Conference League.
Yeah, so he is someone where if he's free from injuries and he plays a good number of games, he comes back into contention for next season to be called up to the national team.
Talking about players who have to battle with injuries, he is arguably Cameroon's biggest midfielder at the moment. I'm talking about Frank Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa. He will be playing for Napoli, who will be welcoming Lecce in this round of fixtures in the Italian Serie A. Napoli looks to have run out of steam without Zambo Anguissa. For Antonio Conte, he is a welcome player back in contention for a place in that starting lineup against Lecce. What do we expect in this game?
Yeah, Napoli should be able to win the game. Coincidence or fact on the ground. When Zambo was still healthy and fit, Napoli were flying. I mean, they were winning game after game. The back injury came, and suddenly Napoli have not been able to find their way again. But you still do expect that against Lecce, they should have the firepower to overcome a Lecce side. It'll be interesting to see with a couple of games under his belt if Zambo will be called for the FIFA series in Australia for Cameroon. But again, like you say, when he's on form, he's Cameroon's best midfielder.
There is Bakola who plays for Sassuolo. He could play for Cameroon, he could play for France, he could play for, but he's still Cameroonian. Sassuolo are up against Bologna in this round of fixtures. And then we've got Alexi Bemede who plays for Hellas Verona up against Genoa. Genoa of our man Jean-Emile Junior Onana. He's not playing at all, not even on the match day squad for Genoa. He made that move under Patrick Vieira. Vieira has been sacked, and the new coach seems not to want to do anything with our man Jean-Emile Junior Onana, former player of the Kufo Academy. He went to Belgium to Mouscron. He's been to France with Lens. He's been to many places. Besiktas in Turkey. His career looks to be fizzling out. Maybe the career choices are not the best for Jean-Emile Junior Onana.
Yeah, I mean, is that one talented player where you always thought, oh, okay, maybe he just needs a career break in order to be able to showcase. I mean, he was in France. We thought, okay, maybe he will blossom there. He did not work out well. He went to Besiktas. Everybody thought, okay, Besiktas is a club that provides platforms for you to be able to play well regularly and have Champions League exposure. That still did not go up for him. He came back. I mean, at Genoa, things are really not working well. He has a career choice to make at the end of the season.
Okay, we are coming back to talk about the German Bundesliga. German Bundesliga, where we've got a couple of Cameroonians as well doing their business, notably our man Christian Michel Kufan, Jean Matteo Bahoya, and of course the man coming back to find form, the man at Borussia Mönchengladbach. He is Mimpole. We're coming back. Welcome back to Weekend Roundup on Lion Striker Sports Television. We are broadcasting live from the Fexify Studios in Monaco. Miley Edmond, the French League One, enters match day 26 today, and there is a clash of Cameroonians in one of the exciting games of the weekend. Marseille against Auxerre. Cameroonians, no. Francois Regis Mouquet was at Marseille, but he's now playing his football in Cyprus. There is, of course, Daniel Edi Namasoloda, who plays for Auxerre, who will be up against Marseille in match day 26. Auxerre have not had a dream campaign. I remember the Auxerre you and I watched under the famous, the legendary Giroud. It's no longer the Auxerre of Djibril Cissé, Olivier Capot, Kalilou Fadiga. This is a new Auxerre and it's struggling.
Yeah, I mean, it's struggling, and Namaso has not been able to have the, the the season that we hoped for. Everybody thought, okay, moving from Porto to Auxerre would have given him the platform to showcase his talent and play, perform very well. Unfortunately, it has not gone the way we expected. Would he be able to maintain his stay at Auxerre, or will he be able to find another club that provides him a bigger stage for him to be able to perform? That becomes the issue. They are playing against Marcel, that is rumbled with internal crisis.
Coach Roberto De Serbi sacked, a new coach brought in, President Longoria walking away. Marseille is not in a good place.
Yeah, so Marseille is always in turbulence, and Auxerre be able to capitalize on that and have a significant flagship win that prompts them or motivates them to have a good end of the season. That's left to be seen.
Lorient, where we have a Cameroon contingent led by Arthur Avom Ebom, former player of Fovazu Elite of Yaoundé, who scored a screamer last weekend for them that helped them earn a point in that game. Also, the club of Cameroon's left back Dalin Zidane Yongwangameni, they are up against Racing Club of Lens, who are doing extremely well. Lorient against Lens, you might feel that Lorient have to dig deep to get anything from this game.
Yes, I mean, Lens are still in it. They're still challenging Paris Saint Germain for the title, and they've played so well this season. They've been able to punch above their weight. Nobody saw them to be rubbing feathers with Paris Saint Germain.
Lands where we have the Cameroon history. We go Bear Song, Joseph Desiree Job, Mark Vivian Fouet, if you won the league with them in 1998.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tough ask, but Ebong Avom, as you has had a fine season. I mean, he scored
We hear that the English Premier League clubs are lining up for a signature, notably Sunderland, who are now leading the chase to get his
and
services.
and that will be a massive boost to his career. I mean, the goal he scored over the weekend was added
Out of this
was
world.
out. I mean, he's contender for goal of the season in Ligue 1 in France. So massive. He ends the season well. He has a bigger club and a bigger pay package waiting for him.
At Nice, we had Bernard Nguene. He has opted to join Standard Liège in Belgium, but they are up against a club with a Cameroonian. His name is Haruna Djibril. Angers Code also got a Cameroonian defender as well. He is still between Cameroon and France, a young, promising defender. So, what do we expect? Angers against Nice. Haruna Djibril has scored 2 goals and provided 1 assist in his first season in the French top flight.
I mean, two struggling teams, but Aruna has been able to. I mean, he's done well for himself, given the fact that he needed a period of adaptation, moving from Cameroon straight forward into top tier in France. It's not easy.
Not coming from a Cameroon top tier side, from a regional league
League
side.
side.
That is the third tier in Cameroon.
He has been able to do well for himself. He has been able to establish. I expect him to be an Angers again next season, where he will have more game time and given more responsibilities. From there, he can now be able to showcase the talent that we know. But against Nice, you don't know. I mean, Nice has struggled badly this season, so it's a game that is going to be difficult to predict. But also a very good game for a player like Jibril to be able to just blow through and have a couple of goals.
AS Monaco against Brest also comes up this weekend. Brest, where we have Cameroon's Eric Junior Dinay Bimbe. He was part of the AFCON. He made his debut for Cameroon recently. A disappointing game against Morocco in the AFCON, but he is still a massive talent.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. The game against Morocco, unfortunately, he was introduced and played out of position. I mean, usually very difficult getting that game entering against Morocco and being played out of position. But I still think playing at Brest, that have been a good side the past couple of seasons. Relatively, last season they played the Champions League. This season they've been there or thereabouts. So I mean, he
And
has
he's having game time at Brest, which shows that he joined them. He joined them from Frankfurt. Haven't had lots of time on the sidelines at Frankfurt. He's coming to the French league. He came to the ranks of Paris Saint Germain. Dinay Bimbe. He is a player that many thought would be one big one for the future. We missed out on a player in the Spanish La Liga, Lucien Agumi. He plays for Sevilla. He has said he wants to play for Cameroon. They are playing against Barca this weekend. We are hoping that he will have a good game in that one for this team from Sevilla. Our run-up in France goes to Rennes, where Abubakar Nagida is up against Lille. He's a Cameroonian. We also got lots of them. We've got Toulouse. There is a Cameroonian clash. Mates of Malcolm Bokele. Is it Malcolm? Malcolm is playing for in Turkey for Gotsepe. The brother is playing for Metz. They are up against Toulouse of Magri, Mario Magri, Frank Mario Magri, and then we've got Rain playing against the Rain of our man Muhammadu Abubakar Nagida. So what do we expect from this?
yeah, Nagida has had game time this season and he has been
He as soon as the coach was changed, Abibay was sacked. The next coach came in and has trusted him. He's played 4 games in a
in a
row,
row.
and all those 4 games, Ren have won.
Yeah, so he has really shown progress. I mean, he's also one of those massive talents that left directly from Cameroon and are now playing that trade in League One, playing against Lille that has a Cameroonian though at
Youth level.
youth level.
They are not just one, they are many.
There are many. So Nagida has the chance.
Stefan Numbisi and others.
Yeah, Nagida has the chance to be able to end the season well and position himself quite well. Magri and has been with Toulouse. We hope that he plays the season very well and ends it well.
It's not been a good one for
It has not
him.
been a good one for him so that he can have a chance to play for a different team if he finishes the season in flying form.
Exciting weekend in store for Cameroon's contingent in Europe's top 5 leagues. We also saw another stellar performance from Andre Onana for his team Trabzonspor against KC Sport, a game which they won by 3 goals to 1, with Andre making 5 saves. We hope that all these players can shine so that they come back to Cameroon and make us shine again. The last time we won the AFCON was back in 2017 in Gabon, and we are hoping again that the Indomitable Lions can fly high on the continent. That's all we had time for on this weekend roundup with Miley Edmond and myself, Mwambo Edward. We had behind the cameras, we had the technical side of the job done by our man. Love it from a man who works tirelessly. Want to thank Flexify Studios for their support and our sponsors, the Becca Group and Beneva Sports. Until next time, bye bye from